Caffeine, a drug that 61% of the world uses daily. Some people drink it because they like it, some for an energy boost, but most people drink it to wake up and function. After 6 years and thousands of cups of coffee, I suddenly decided to quit. And I couldn't even believe what happened. But there's a reason why simply quitting coffee is so difficult. Because here's what it does to your brain. When you drink coffee, the first thing that happens is that it stops your brain from feeling tired because it blocks your brain's tiredness chemical, adenosine, from making you feel tired. Then as you keep drinking coffee, your dopamine receptors, the little parking spots that dopamine goes and parks into, in order for you to feel the effects of drive, motivation, and excitement, they increase in size and become more dense, which makes everything you're doing while drinking coffee more exciting and fun because your brain is flooded with dopamine. But over time, as you're drinking more and more coffee, those effects start to diminish and you require more and more coffee just to get the same effect as before. And because your baseline level of energy and dopamine drops so low, eventually you'll come to a point where you'll need to drink coffee just to feel normal again. But what if you suddenly decide to quit like I did? It's been over 100 days since my last sip of coffee, and one of the biggest reasons I quit is because of something called dopamine depletion. You see, as I mentioned earlier, when you drink coffee, your brain's receptors for dopamine increase and become more sensitive to dopamine. This, for the long term, destroys your productivity, motivation, and focus. And here's how it works. Imagine you have a button in front of you, and every time you press that button, it gives you a full glass of water. The first day, you press that button, and you get a nice, refreshing glass of water to quench your thirst. After 1 week, that nice glass of water only fills halfway. So you need to press the button more times in order to fill it up. And after a few months, that glass of water only fills up 1/3 of the way. So you'll need to press the button a ton of times before it fills up. This means that eventually, in order to fill your glass of water and stop being thirsty, you'll end up pressing the button more and more times for less and less amount of water over time. So when you first drink coffee, it feels amazing and you feel motivated and productive and focused. But over time, you'll need more and more coffee just to get the same effect. But this is not the only reason I decided to quit coffee, because this is not the only problem you'll face when drinking coffee. And this next problem I faced is something that you're probably even facing right now, and it's slowly driving you closer and closer to burnout every single day. You see, when you drink caffeine, it tricks your brain to think that there's a bear or a lion that's chasing you. Your heart rate increases, your blood pressure increases, your lungs get more air, your reflexes improve, your digestion slows down, and your pupils dilate. So naturally, by having your brain think that it's chased by a predator and running on cortisol and adrenaline, you will feel more awake and alert. This is a problem because the autonomic nervous system has two parts: the sympathetic nervous system, or the fight or flight, and the parasympathetic nervous system, or the rest and digest. Drinking coffee triggers the fight or flight part of your nervous system, and when you consume it daily, it leads to CNS fatigue. Think about the two parts of the autonomic nervous system like a scale. If you drink coffee daily, the fight or flight part of the nervous system gets overactivated and it breaks that balance of the scale. Your cortisol levels will increase, and this will cause you to not sleep well and as a result not recover. Your adrenal glands will require more and more coffee to produce the same amount of adrenaline, which will lead to something called adrenal fatigue that causes you to be chronically tired. And eventually, if you don't drink coffee, you'll be tired, foggy, and unproductive. So you'll need to drink your daily coffee just to feel normal and get back to your baseline. But let's say you don't want to stop drinking coffee, but you just want to learn how to safely use it to maximize its mental performance benefits without burning out or getting addicted. Because while I personally stopped drinking coffee, I can't deny that if you use it correctly, it can be a pretty powerful tool for your mental performance and productivity. Actually, what if I told you that there's a protocol you can use to leverage coffee as a productivity and performance enhancer so that you can perform above baseline and unlock more focus, creativity, and performance than ever before while having zero side effects or drawbacks? And I've given this exact protocol to hundreds of my entrepreneur clients to help them optimize their mental performance by leveraging caffeine strategically. It's something called the caffeine optimization protocol, and in order to implement it, you'll need to follow 4 steps. Step 1, intermittent caffeine intake. Drink caffeine 1 to 3 days a week max. You will keep your cortisol and adrenaline levels normal. It will prevent your dopamine system from being depleted, and it will also ensure that every time you drink caffeine, you get the exact same effect instead of building intolerance. Step 2, optimal caffeine timing. Drink your caffeine 90 minutes after waking, and don't drink any caffeine 10 hours before bed. You see, when you drink caffeine, it blocks out your brain's tiredness chemical, adenosine, from making you feel tired. Adenosine is a chemical chemical that naturally builds up in your brain the longer you've stayed awake for in the day in order to make you feel tired and sleepy when you should be tired and sleepy. Adenosine naturally goes away and gets cleared out of your brain by going to sleep and recovering. The problem is that even if you sleep well at night, you will wake up in the morning and there will still be some leftovers of adenosine in your brain. Now, these leftovers will naturally get cleared out of the system after about an hour and a half of you being awake. But if you drink coffee before those adenosine leftovers have left your brain, what will happen is that you will block that adenosine from making you feel tired, but while caffeine is in your system, there will be more and more adenosine accumulating in your brain in the background. And as a result, once caffeine no longer affects your adenosine, all this new adenosine that has been building up in the background will give you a big energy crash and cause you to feel very tired and groggy. Or you can simply prevent all that from happening by drinking your coffee 90 minutes after waking up. And the reason why you need to stop drinking coffee 10 hours before bed is because of how long caffeine stays in your bloodstream. You see, caffeine has a quarter life of about 10 to 12 hours. This means that if you drink 100 to 200 milligrams of caffeine at 9 a.m. and go to bed at 9 p.m., you're still going to have about 25 to 50 milligrams of coffee in your bloodstream. And when you go to bed with caffeine still in your system, you're either not going to be able to fall asleep, or something way more common, you'll fall asleep just fine, but your sleep quality will absolutely suck. In fact, if you drink coffee in the evening, you get on average about 30% less deep sleep. And to get that much reduction in deep sleep, you'd otherwise have to age by 12 years, or simply just drink a cup of espresso in the evening. Step number 3, take your coffee with electrolytes. Caffeine signals your kidneys to excrete more electrolytes, so it has a diuretic effect on your body. This is why you may have experienced more cramping when you drink coffee and not hydrate properly, or why you go to the bathroom more frequently than usual. If you don't hydrate correctly, but you're drinking caffeine to enhance your focus, productivity, and energy, it's like you're fixing one leak from the bucket and at the same time creating a new leak. And what's crazy is that even a 1% reduction in hydration levels will significantly lower your mental performance. So to prevent that from happening, on the days that you're drinking coffee, simply increase your electrolyte intake by 50%. So for example, if you're normally putting 1 teaspoon of Himalayan salt in your water, put 1.5 teaspoons. And step 4, use caffeine synergistic supplements. If you've ever drank coffee and became anxious or jittery, it's because of the stress response it triggers. There are specific supplements you can take with caffeine to remove the anxiety and jitters you might get from it, but to also supercharge the cognitive enhancing effects it has. The first supplement is L-theanine, and it's an amino acid found in green tea leaves. It increases the GABA activity in your brain, and as a result, it removes the overwhelm and jitters from drinking coffee, while at the same time increasing your focus. The second supplement you can combine with coffee is a mix of Sabroxy and Polygalatenuifolia. These two compounds work extremely well with coffee, and it's like your coffee is on steroids. The Oroxylum found in Sabroxy boosts your mitochondria and increases ATP production, and Polygala increases the production of BDNF in your brain, which improves your cognitive performance. And look, I know you probably like these little hacks, and they sound like quick fixes for your productivity, but to be able to truly achieve 0.1% levels of performance and productivity, there are specific metrics you should track in order to dial in your diet, routine, and work schedule towards exactly what your brain and body needs to perform at its 100%. So that's why I've made this protocol and have used it with hundreds of entrepreneurs, including people like Jordan Platten, Thomas Gannett, Matt Shields, and Nathan Nazareth, to help them unlock an unfair competitive advantage and become super productive. If you want to see what this protocol is and how you can use it too to perform at your peak capacity mentally, then click on the video you see on the screen now, and I'll see you there.